Okay, guys, so this is a totally online class, I guess. It's going to be recorded, and let me start. Thanks, wait a second. Let me share my screen so you can have it, okay? So this is a topic that is, it's the cocoa, one of the cocos for English teachers, and that's because normally, it's not a rule, but normally an English teacher is very talkative. We love to talk and talk and talk. Somos bien chismosos. We like drama. And we want to do that in our classroom. We want to have all our, we want to have the spotlight on us. We want to have all the attention on us. And you can do that. You just can't do that. Anyways, we're going to discuss that, okay? And this is called TTT versus STT. So what is this about? Okay, let's start. So first of all, what is TTT and what is STT? Well, it's the time learners spend talking rather than the teacher. That's STT. It can be compared with teachers' talking time. So if TTT stands for teachers' talking time, STT stands for students' talking time. And it says here, it can be useful for a category for observation of teaching or for self-reflection about teaching. So, bottom line, and this topic, TTT, will mean the time you spend talking as a teacher. And STT is the time the students spend speaking, okay? We're not going to do this if we have students online or, live students. We would have watched these videos for homework, watch them, and then send me a video message on your comments and opinion about them, okay? Good. So what is the pros and cons of the teacher's talking time? Well, first of all, we need to understand that teachers are not teacher per se in English classes for a CLT, the communicative language teaching or the communicative approach. We are facilitators. We guide them, okay? So TTT needs to be minimal. Again, TTT needs to be minimal. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so why we need to have TTT minimal? Let's read it. Let's read number 1. So number 1, excessive TTT limits the amount of STT. And the teacher might say, duh, it's true. If the teacher talks more, the students will talk less. If the students talk more, the students speaks less. Okay, again, excessive TTT will limit or decrease the STT. Let's give an example. If the teacher talks for half a time in a 60 minutes with 15 students, that means that each student gets only 2 minutes to speak. Ah, very bad, eh? 50 minutes, half an hour teacher, and the rest 2 minutes. Let me ask you something, teachers. Does this make sense to you? Poor students, no? They come to learn English and they don't practice. Y por eso el niño se avienta secundaria, prepa, universidad, posgrado, PhD, etcétera, etcétera, verbo to be. because that student never got to practice. Number 2 reason, a large amount of TTT results in long stretches of time in teacher to class. In other words, long time teacher in front of class. Any is a monotonous space. A student under involvement lose concentration, boredom, and reduce learning. In other words, your class will be doomed. Because the students will not pay attention to you because they're not interested in what you say. Point number 3, TTT often means that the teacher is giving the students information that they can be found out by themselves, such as grammar rules, the meaning of vocabulary. The teacher explanations alone are often tedious. If you talk too much, you become, what is the word again? Tedious. You don't want to do that. Okay. And the students, bottom line, would not learn. 3 main reasons. Let's see the 4 reasons why you need to cut on the TTT. If the teacher takes the dominant role in classroom discourse, dice, ya no es teaching, es discourse. In other words, a monologue. ¿Qué es monólogo? Okay, ya, me sentí bien. If the teacher takes the dominant role in classroom discourse in terms of initiating the topic, the student's role is only that of respondent. In other words, it's mechanical. I give you an example that all know. Hi guys, good morning, how are you? And the answer is, thank you, man, fine, and you? That's mechanical, that's not speaking. But that's only because teacher forced them to respond only what he is speaking. If he cuts the TTT, if he reduces TTT, then this teacher can actually be more effective and students will be learn more from this teacher. Number 5 reason, if the teacher is constantly dominant and controlling, check this out, and I read from, and I quote, the learners take no responsibility for their own learning. Student autonomy is limited. Y this is bad. Porque entonces cuando vayan a ver a un gringo o una gringa, pues no van a entender nada. Ay, no está el maestro para que me diga cómo era. Students need to be autonomous. They need to like English and need to like research so they can speak more. And that's only if you remain more in silence. Reduce your TTT. So what are some of the strategies? Okay, we established that TTT is bad. You know, not bad, but excessive TTT is bad. So what are some of the strategies for reducing TTT? Well, number 1, the overuse of TTT is often the product of underuse of communicative techniques in the classroom. In other words, you have no pair work, you have no group work, you have no trios. Don't do that. Every 5 minutes, every activity, every time you can during your 60-minute class, use pair work, use group work, and use tree work or trios, and stop talking. That's what it says. You don't use communicative activities such as pair work. No pair work, students don't talk. Who does the talking? The teacher. Teacher remains silent, teacher shut up, then you have them work in pairs, then the students will actually learn and practice speaking. Therefore, your TTT will be minimum. Now, the amount of time spent in teacher class mode will depend on factors such as student like how much they know, the lesson, even the time, etc. Especially if you have a class in the last hour, well, that's very difficult. But notice what it says at the end, and I quote, a useful guideline is a limit of 30% of the lesson for your TTT. So if it's 1 hour, 30 minutes is 50%. So 50 minutes is 25. So it's around 17 minutes out of the hour. That's your teacher's talking time. How much are you talking in your hour? You should only speak 17 minutes, obviously, distributed and during the hour for your teaching techniques. Who does the other time? Who does the other 83 minutes? 83 minutes. Who does the other 43 minutes? The students. The students do the talk. Another strategy. Use too much explanation. Teachers, remember, and this is one of my premises that the ones that have been working with me, teachers, I mean, students are students. Simple as that. Teachers don't need choro. Students don't need choro. Not much explanation. Have them speak, give a brief explanation, and have them work in pairs, discover the grammar, practice the grammar, yes, but remain in silence, have them speak. How do you do that? Next point, body language, mime, gesturing, facial expressions rather than words. Let me repeat, body language, mime, gestures, facial expression rather than words. And the last point, getting the students to give feedback on tasks to each other rather to the teacher. In other words, if you let your students to give feedback, is better. Okay, very good. Eliminating unnecessary TTT. Again, no need choro. Look, let's read with me the last sentence. If explanations are clear and concept checking is effective, there should be no need for re-explanation or interrupting an activity to reteach or re-instruct. Simple as that. And the last but not least, tolerate silence. As I said, teachers, we are very talkative and we hate awkward silence. We want to talk. We want noise. But when you're talking, or excuse me, when you're teaching, silence is good. Too much silence is not. But silence to wait for students' response is good. Notice what it says. Wait for the students to respond, monitor activities, be prompt to help, but only when they ask, but give them time to answer. Tolerate silence. Very important, teachers. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages on the TTT, okay? It's not always easy. Well, no, not always. It's never easy to reduce TTT, okay? Because of culture, because of we like drama, como dice aquí, we like the theatrical side of the language. Yes, we like drama. We like to talk, okay? But how then are you going to use TTT? Well, I give you 5 things that you can use in TTT. Storytelling, you can do that. But storytelling in an approach for useful in the class, something that like a listening activity. You talk, they listen, but don't go beyond what is written. Don't go beyond what is in your program or what is in the book or whatever is in the activity. Personalized presentation. This is very important. You're going to use your own words. If you're going to use a TTT time, use your own words. Okay? Don't write a manuscript. That's never good for students or teachers. An outline, main words, and let them come naturally. Very important. Number 3, questioning. And still, even though students' answer is not STT, it's TTT because you're conducting the activity. But questioning is good. If you had to speak, well, then have an interaction with your students with questioning. Natural conversation. Hey, how are you? How was your weekend? Start with that. How was your weekend, guys? Did you finish your homework? Tell me, what do you think about what is the movie that is Inside 2? Did you watch it? Have you watched it? Depending on the level. Yes, no, why? How was it? What's your opinion? Natural conversation. Again, it's not natural monologue. No es un monólogo. It's a conversation. Have students practice. And finally, it's the anecdotes. The anecdotes are very, very important for your experience. Obviously, they are related to the topic. I remember that happened to me once, and I did this. For example, you're teaching simple past. Hello, teacher Diana. I'm just doing a recording class. Give me 1 second. I'm almost finished. For example, you're teaching simple past. Oh, I remember that happened to me when I was 17 because in this and that. And you start giving an anecdote or an experience or a memory, obviously related to the topic. Remember the premise, no more than 17 minutes through the hour. So you had to do a TTT and anecdote, 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. So you can keep your TTT minimum. So for homework, you're going to read, you're going to have this reading. Look for it, Google it, and so there are some papers. There are like 4 or 5 here. Choose one reading and give me your opinion on writing. And for homework, find a partner so you can work with them during the week. And you're going to give me or present the activities that you are going to be sending to the chat of the group, so you can have it. I'm going to assign the pairs. You want to read them, discuss them between you, and then present what is it about. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.